By order of the Peaky Blinders. I've always wanted to say that before I started a video. I just never had the right video to do it for. Until now.
Flooded Rolex at the Grammy Awards. They still selling dope, that's those Miami boys. Killers everywhere, it ain't no place to run. Forgive me for my wrongs, I have just begun. Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy. Huh. Got that purple Lamborghini lurking. Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy. Huh. Got that purple Lamborghini lurking. Rose.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Trav White here, and today's a fun video because we're gonna be talking about one of my favorite shows on television called Peaky Blinders. If you haven't seen Peaky Blinders, what are you doing? Go check it out.
How much did you pay for the suit you'll be wearing?
Oh, I don't pay for suits. My suits are on the house, or the house burns down.
It is a post-World War I drama held in the 1920s in Birmingham, England. Their style in Peaky Blinders is very dark and dingy and monochromatic. So I want to talk about how you can recreate these looks today so you can dress up like a Peaky Blinder or put together something that's unique to your style and be inspired from that time period, that vintage time period. I love bringing vintage pieces into my outfits. This is one other way you can do that. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to cover was actually the dress shirt. In the show, they're very commonly wearing this club collar dress shirt. I even think back then they might have had separated collars that they put on separately, but today you're not really gonna find that. And it took me a long time to track down a club collar dress shirt. You go look for dress shirts online. They're spread collars, they're medium spread collars. I ended up finding this one from Hue and Cry. All these clothing items I'll link down in the description so you can go check them out for yourself. Really love this shirt. Their whole process of putting your measurements in and getting it sent to you was really easy. So if you're looking for a club collar, this is kind of more of the vintage collar. You're not going to find it very much. That was the first piece that I really liked about their outfits, was their club collar shirt. So the next part I want to talk about are their suits. Now, to be a Peaky Blinder, you got to wear a three-piece, and not just any three-piece. It has to be tweed, herringbone, three-piece suits. They're either gray or brown. It's hard to just walk into any store on the street and find a tweed suit. I had to track one down that was semi-affordable, that I could find online. It was tough to find one in a store, but I was able to track this one down from online from the British Tweed Company. Check them out. That's where I found this three-piece herringbone tweed suit. It's got the vintage feel, but it also has a really nice cut for the more modern man as well. Kind of this really nice blend of vintage and modern, which actually brings me, I was reading an article on this website called clothesonfilm.com. They interview a lot of costume designers and how they put their costumes together. And Stephanie Colley, who is the costume designer for Peaky Blinders, actually put the wardrobe together to be as historically accurate as possible and not to take away from the vintage feeling of the 20s era, while also having it be something that you could wear today. So I think when the show came out, it was like 2013, and all of the runways for autumn winter 13, they had a lot of tweed, they had a lot of herringbone going down the runway. So she wanted something that could mix with what was currently in fashion with something vintage. You can't be a Peaky Blinder without a hat, right? You need the newsboy messenger hat, and it has to be a tweed herringbone as well. This one I found off of ASOS, super cheap. It actually matches really nicely with my herringbone polo and tweed suit, so that worked out really well. The next thing is the pocket watch. They do wear pocket watches. Obviously, they didn't have wristwatches back in the day. I'm not big into the watch community, and especially with vintage timepieces. I could start to get into trouble if I say some things that I'm not an expert about. So what I did was I just found a really nice one on Amazon, ended up buying it and using that for my outfit. So yeah, I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole of vintage horology and pocket watches and different brands and which ones are better. Just know that they definitely wore pocket watches and they wore it on their waistcoat. It came for a really cool look. So the next piece of your Peaky Blinders outfit is gonna be the boots. Now, usually they're cap toe, lace up boots that go above the ankle. The ones that I'm wearing right here are from Thursday boots, and mine look pretty clean and polished. Obviously, I hadn't worn them in too much. They hadn't patinaed greatly and they didn't look worn in, but if you look at the vintage Peaky Blinders outfits, they were definitely worn in. There's a lot of places you could find kind of that vintage style boot. I just went for a Thursday boot because I love Thursday boots, and they have that buttery soft inner lining, and it doesn't take a whole long time to break in, so I just love their style. So let's talk about accessories now. So typically, if you're gonna rock a three-piece suit, you wanna rock a tie with it. I know that in the show, they commonly don't wear ties with their outfits. I know Arthur Shelby likes to rock his bow ties. Tommy Shelby wears a skinny tie occasionally, and he wears a tie bar with it. And I noticed in the show, they would wear ringlets around their shirt sleeves. Obviously, shirts today, nobody wears ringlets around their shirt sleeves. So I went to look into why they did that, and it was because all shirts were cut around the same sleeve length. They didn't have different sleeve lengths for different sizes, for different size men. All the shirts had one common sleeve length, so men would wear ringlets on their arms to lift their sleeves to be the size that fit them best, and then they'd wear a jacket over it. So I thought that was a really cool piece of history. You don't have to wear ringlets today, you can just take it to a tailor. So that pretty much covers the whole entire look. One thing that's really cool about these vintage pieces is you can take some ideas from it, throw it into your more modern wardrobe, make it look really cool. Another thing you can do is just go all out vintage, and that's another really cool idea. One thing I did want to touch on is, while I love the show, I think it's impeccably written. I think Stephanie Colley did an amazing job with the costume design. Obviously, these guys were gang members. It is not the kind of men that I'm suggesting to idolize or become. They would do whatever it took to get ahead, regardless of the law, regardless of violence, regardless of who they had to step on to get to where they wanted to get. So obviously, I'm not condoning acting like a Peaky Blinder, but I am condoning dressing like one. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see more videos like this where I break down really cool television show styles. I know that Boardwalk Empire has amazing style, John Wick, Suits. Drop a comment on the show or movie you'd like to see me break down. So yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.